everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back and thank you for supporting me. I'm Coretta. In this video, I will be using my Brother SE1900 single needle embroidery machine to make my first applique embroidery project. Come on, y'all, let's get started. For this project, I will be using Minky fabric, flannel fabric, thread to match my fabrics. I'm going to be using cutaway stabilizer. I'm going to be using water soluble stabilizer. I have some fabric here for my applique design. I'm going to use heat and bond for my applique fabric, and I have some cutting tools here. I will leave a list of these items in the description of this video. So to get started, I'm going to cut my fabric. I have the butterfly flannel and I have some purple Minky. I purchased this fabric from Hobby Lobby. So I am going to cut my flannel material at 30 by 36. And then I'm going to cut my Minky fabric at 32 by 38. And they say that cutting the Minky slightly larger is supposed to help the fabric from shifting. So I'm going to be cutting this slightly larger than the flannel fabric. I'm going to be doing an applique design. So I have some yellow and purple fabric here. I've already put the heat and bond on the back of the fabric here. So when you start appliquing, you want to remove the backing part. So I'm going to cut my fabric. Now that I have my fabric cut, I am going to hoop the Minky fabric. And to make sure that I get my design centered, I am going to fold the Minky in half the long way. I'm going to put pretty side to pretty side. And then I am going to fold it in half like this, making sure that I get it even. Now that I have the fabric folded, I'm just going to turn it around. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to take some chalk because I don't have any fabric marker. So I'm going to take some chalk. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the chalk inside, and then I'm just going to run a line down the center here with my chalk to mark the center. So next, I am going to place my top part of my hoop and the guide onto the fabric. The guide is going to help me to ensure that I am lining up the design and the hoop is centered. So I'm just going to line up the center of my grid with the chalk line that I made on the front of the Minky fabric. And then once I have it centered, then I want to make sure that it is placed. So let me move this up so you guys can see. Make sure that I place it about 4 inches from the edge of the fabric. I mean the bottom of the fabric. And so I have my hoop centered, and it is about 4 inches from the edge of the fabric. After I get the hoop centered, the top part of the hoop centered, then I'm going to place my cutaway stabilizer under the fabric, also under the hoop. So I'm just going to place my stabilizer, and I'm going to make sure that I have it up all the way under the hoop. So I'm just checking. So it's under the hoop. Okay. So now I'm going to recenter it again since I did all of the maneuvering. So recenter it. And I have that. And then I am going to take the bottom part of my hoop and place it under the fabric and under the cutaway stabilizer. And I'm making sure that it's loose so that when I get ready to put the top part inside, it'll fit. So I'm going to place it under the hoop, under the stabilizer. And then I'm just going to after you get your fabric hooped, then you want to tighten the hoop with the screw, and I'm going to be using this screwdriver here. And you just want to tighten your hoop really tight so that the hoop can stay together while you are doing your embroidery. Now I am going to gently pull my fabric because I can tell that my Minky fabric is a little loose in here. So I'm going to gently pull my fabric, not too hard, but I'm going to gently pull it so that I can make it kind of tight. Next, I am going to hook the hoop to my embroidery machine. Once the hoop is on the embroidery machine, I'm going to make sure that there is no fabric under my hoop because I don't want the blanket to be embroidered to itself. So I'm checking to make sure that there is no extra fabric under my hoop. So I'm just going to roll this up there. And then roll this up over here for now. And that looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to get the design pulled up. My design is on a flash drive that is already inserted on my embroidery machine. To locate the design, I'm going to hit the USB icon. And then I'm going to select my design. And I am going to select Set to import the design to the machine. So I don't have any embroidery software. So I got this design from Melissa at Tailor Made Design. Go over there and check out her website and check out all of her rhinestone and embroidery files. With this design, she sent me the printed version that you can print and tack it down and make sure everything is okay. And then she sent me the steps that go with it. And so just head on over to her website and see. So since I don't need to do anything on this screen, I am going to hit in Edit and then Embroidery. So based on the steps listed on the printed version of my design, this is going to do a placement stitch first. And so I am just going to lower my presser foot and then press the green button. Now I'm going to lay down the fabric for the body. So I'm going to lift up that, and then I'm just going to put this on top here, put that back down, and then press start. Once the tack down stitch is finished, I'm going to lift my presser foot and remove the hoop from the embroidery machine. And then with my scissors, I am going to carefully trim away the excess applique fabric from the Minky fabric. I'm going to make sure that I cut really close to the stitches without cutting the stitches. Now I've trimmed the excess applique fabric away for both the yellow and the purple, and I have put the hoop back onto the machine. I'm going to make sure that the fabric is out of the way. And then I am going to place some water-soluble stabilizer on top of the design. And the water-soluble stabilizer is so that the stitches of the satin stitch doesn't sink into the Minky fabric, since the Minky fabric is so plushy. So I'm going to lay this here, then I'm going to put my presser foot down, and then I'm going to start the machine again. Okay, so here is my completed design. I am going to pull off the water-soluble stabilizer and remove any of the residual stabilizer that might be there. I'm going to spritz it with water and a dry cloth to remove any of the water stabilizer that doesn't rip off. And then I'm going to cut away the jump stitches and any hanging thread that I want to cut away. Next, I am going to cut around the back of the design. I'm going to cut away the cutaway stabilizer. So now I am going to pin my Minky fabric with my flannel fabric. So I'm just going to lay out the Minky fabric with the pretty side to the front. So the pretty side is facing up. And then I'm going to lay out my flannel with the pretty side facing down. Now remember, your flannel is smaller than your Minky fabric. So don't be like me. Find a bigger space. And so I'm just going to pin the Minky fabric down with the flannel fabric. And so that I can show you guys, I'm going to do some pins here, and then I'm going to come back once I finish it off. So to pin it, you want to have your straight pins. So let me open my straight pins. So I have my Minky fabric. I have it pretty side to pretty side. So you can see the pretty side of the Minky is to the pretty side of the flannel. And when you pin it, you want to pin your pins really close. So you want to pin it and then you want to pin it like right where the other pin stop. So you want to pin it like that. And then once you make the first row, you're going to pin a second row. And then after you pin a second row, then you just want to place pins on the blanket, and you want to pin the inside of the blanket as well. And you just want to space them out kind of far, not far, but maybe like 2 or 3 inches apart. And this is going to help your Minky fabric from shifting. So you want to place pins into the middle of the fabric as well. So I'm going to finish getting this pinned, and then I'll come back. So now I have my blanket pinned together. So as you can see, I have 2 rows of pins, and then I have the blanket pinned all the way through the inside as well. And this is going to help stabilize the Minky fabric and keep it from sliding and off of the flannel. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to sew the blanket together. I've pinned the blanket, and I've left a opening here in the blanket so that I can pull the inside out on the blanket. So I'm going to start my stitch here, and I'm going to stitch all the way around, and then I'm going to stop here, and then this is going to be the opening. So I'm going to start here, back stitch to secure, stop here, and back stitch to secure. To sew, I will be using my Singer patchwork sewing machine. I am going to be trying to keep it at 1/4 inch seam allowance, and these are my settings for my machine. So I'm finished sewing, and I am going to cut away the excess Minky fabric. So I'm finished cutting, and so now I'm just going to pull my fabric inside out. So now it's inside out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to the ironing board, and I'm going to iron down the edges so that they are a little bit more crisp. I'll come back when I finish doing that. Please know that I am going to iron the edges down on the flannel side, because you're not supposed to iron on the Minky side. And while I am pressing that down, I'm also going to press down my applique. So I'll be back when I finish pressing down the edges. Okay, so I've pressed the edges of the blanket, and now I'm going to top stitch the blanket and close up the opening on this that I have where I pull the blanket through. So I'm going to top stitch all around the blanket. All right, y'all. This is the finished blanket. I think it is so cute. This is my first embroidery project on my brother's SE 1900. And I am just so excited for me. Tell me in the comments what you guys think. All right, guys, that's all for now. I hope that you're able to follow along with my process. If you like this video and would like to see more, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will respond back. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.